twist to this. Now, if you look at the example of Pakistan, so during the time of partition in 1947, so Pakistan is called the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. But if we were to look back and see the basics of the creation, there are two theories. One theory is that the theory primarily believed by most people is that it's a country that was made for the Muslims in that region to live. And then there's another group who has a theory which says that this is a country to flourish and strengthen Islam in that area. And I think there is a definite difference between the two theories. And I think from what our understanding has been is that the country was created because of the people in that area, for the Muslims to live there as a majority.
Well, I mean, since we were not going to talk politics, but I think we just check that, in the first speech that Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah gave on the Constituent Assembly, actually the vision was of a secular state. It was the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Actually, the word wasn't used till 7-8 years. It was just the Republic of Pakistan. The Islamic word was introduced in the 56 Constitution, then sort of became empowered in 62 Constitution, and the rest is history. Because I think, as you were saying, there's always this constructive tension, and most often it's very difficult to maintain a balance. But talking about sort of secularism and sort of living in harmony, surely societies, when they feel threatened and are fearful, then some of the very laws that they profess and practice are threatened themselves. What happened to the Japanese in the Second World War and the internment. And you are an activist on behalf of organizing Muslims. Do you feel after 9/11 some of that harmony has been sort of challenged, if you will?
Oh, definitely, and it's been a different mindset. If you look at what happened post 9/11, there's a statement that people say that on 9/11, America realized there were Muslims living in America, and the Muslims realized that they were living in America as well. And that's important to understand, that the integration of our community may not have been to the level that it needed to be prior to 9/11. And clearly, America had never been attacked in this manner ever in its history. And the reaction of the law enforcement agencies, and this is after discussion with many law enforcement agents at the higher level and even at the grassroots level, they felt that they didn't know what was the right way to do and manage the situation, because they felt threatened from any and everywhere. Mm-hmm. The reactions that occurred after that, obviously in many respects, were abusive, even according to the Inspector General of the law enforcement agencies. So, and the way to approach this, of course, is that people can actually take this and say, oh my God, we are being abused, and let's think of how to get out of this. But the reality is that actually the fact remains that all or majority of the people are very appropriate and very receptive to individuals. The people make their decision based on the best knowledge that are provided to them. And I think what is needed from the American Muslim community right now is to provide the best knowledge to our fellow neighbors, community members, friends, or other faith communities. And that would allow them to understand the faith directly, rather than learning it from somebody on a radio talk show or one of the television channels which may have a negative bias towards it. I think that's what the struggle for us as a community is, to present the faith that we live and respect and enjoy, and with our fellow friends.
Reverend, I mean, how do you see sort of this post 9/11 and sort of what some of the Muslims may feel living in America at this time?
I can understand that many Muslims would feel somewhat apprehensive. A small minority, even though there's many millions in a very large country. Yet, I also know that it has been the occasion for many non-Muslims to find out more about Islam and their Muslim neighbors. And so, as Dr. Anwar is saying, that this is a real opportunity for the Muslim community to educate. There are many, many Americans, the vast majority of Americans, I would say, who are quite open to learning about Islam, about the countries from which Muslims have emigrated, and also to connect. In my own church, we've had many speakers, and the speakers who always bring the biggest attendance now are those who will represent Islam, because people are very interested in it. All of these things on the TV that they say, they are many non-Muslim Americans are apprehensive about Islam because they link Islam with terrorism. That's the immediate, and so but they know at another level that can't be true because they know Muslims who are very fine people. So it is an occasion for education and for growth. I think that many people are taking advantage of.
Just one other point, and that is that I think that this is a golden opportunity for the vast majority of Americans who are peace-loving, who many of whom have Muslim neighbors and friends, to be actively supportive of the vast majority of Muslims in this country who are moderate in their views, who are striving for peace in the same way that we are, to support them and to support their voices against those